Hey, Happy New Year, Fragrance family. What's going on? One of the first videos of 2025 for the channel of Scent Savants. And I'm going to kick it off with one of my favorite categories, florals for men. And you want to experience something that could add a touch of class, a touch of je ne sais quoi, and some sophistication, then I got you on some fragrances that you have heard of, maybe haven't experienced, and I got some real bangers. Today's scent of the day, though, by the way, is Encens Suave, the X-Straight. I said I was going to hold off and get it, but I just couldn't hold off and get it. We're not reviewing this, but I am putting this on record that this might be the best incense fragrance I have ever experienced. All right, let's roll the intro. Scent Savant, let's go.
Welcome to Scent Savant, and welcome to the sensational world of fragrances, where every spray tells a story and every note captivates the senses. Join me on a journey of olfactory exploration as we uncover the secrets of the most alluring scents on the market. Welcome to
Scent Savant.
Okay, let's have some fun. Let's get right into it. And the first one I have for you today is Mojave Ghost Absolu by Byredo. Now, this is brand new, released 4 or 5 months ago, and this is a kicked up X-Straight version of the original Mojave Ghost. And the original Mojave Ghost was a fragrance that was kind of like a cult classic, well-loved, but extremely weak. Byredo's fragrances are very subdued, very minimalistic, but they really added an extra ump and kick in this one. Now, this one is intensified, it's elegant, it's sort of mystical, it's warm, it's resilient, and it is a unisex white floral. Now, this is probably going to be the most feminine leading fragrance on this whole list. Very musky. This is a fragrance where white florals meet masculinity. It kind of defies traditional gender norms. It has this ambrette note that adds this sort of warmth and muskiness. There is a sandalwood and this creamy depth. The white florals in this come from violet and magnolia. So it's bold, it's refined. This thing lasts for over 10 hours. Now, when I first smelled this, I thought it was too feminine. And I like feminine fragrances. I thought it was way too much. And my rep gave me a sample of it. So I ended up wearing the sample one night, probably around 6 p.m. And I didn't go to sleep until late, probably 2 a.m. And I'm smelling this thing the whole night. And it really, after the first hour, started to open up and really amazed me. And it won me over just from a 2 ml sample. So I've worn it. I love it. My wife wears it. She loves it. You have to be confident. You have to rock it. This is probably, again, the most feminine scent on this fragrance list. But I've had people comment and say that this smells fantastic. Funny story. I'm on an elevator and these 2 young women walk in. And this older woman walks in. I had just sprayed Portrait of a Lady by Frederick Malle. That's a strong fragrance. I probably got 8-10 sprays on and it's kicking. And the 2 young girls, they look at me and they're like, somebody smells really good. And the older woman, she has a kid with her. The mother turns around. She's like, yeah, that does smell really good. Who is that? And I'm like, it's me. She goes, oh, that's wonderful. What is that fragrance? I tell her it's called Portrait of a Lady by Frederick Malle. And she looks at me and goes, you wear women's perfume? She was like appalled. She was almost offended. And I just had to laugh. And I just said, it's a name. But I'm glad you like it. So again, very musky, a little bit deep, woody, sandalwoody, and that violet and magnolia really add this purple white floral aspect that's really kicked up, very strong, definitely something for elegant wear. The next one is a little bit of a cult classic that a lot of people have smelled this and absolutely found it lovely. And then a lot of men have smelled this and found it leaning too feminine or too dryer sheet. This is Amouage Reflection Man. This is sophisticated, fresh, elegant, refined, timeless. It has this dryer sheet clean aspect, has this really clean musk, and it has an incense note mixed with almost this blackberry. What makes this have a white floral aspect is this jasmine. This jasmine is not indolic, it's not poopy, it's not overly floral at all. In fact, mainly what you get from this is this slightly fruity, clean, drier sheet incense. And this incense is pushed way in the back. This fragrance has the depth from the incense, but it's so clean. Definitely a masterpiece. This is targeted towards men. Now, that being said, if you smell this fragrance and you find this fragrance leans a little bit too in the femme space for you, I definitely suggest checking out Houbagant's Ambre des Abysses. This takes this same DNA and adds this spices, brings down this drier sheet aspect, brings down this incense aspect, brings down this jasmine aspect, kicks up with that iris, and makes it amazing. I almost don't know which one I prefer more. That's why both of them are in my collection. They both can do something a little different. This adds this more clean, drier scent, everyday white t-shirt, while this can do a lot more date night, dinners, going out, friends, party, lunches, everything that this can do a little bit more. So Amouage Reflection Man, very good. It's some people, some men find it a little too white, clean, floral, and some men find it amazing. Check that one out. Okay, next on the list, this is the most elegant, the most refined, and the best purple smelling violet unisex fragrance I have in my whole collection that I think I've ever smelled. This is Fragrance du Bois Oud Violet Intense. My goodness. Yeah. Opulent, mystical, intriguing, sophisticated, luxurious. This is a fragrance centered around the note of violet, and it opens up with this sparkling mandarin burst, and it has this black pepper and pink pepper. Black pepper usually smells sweet in fragrances. Pink pepper usually smells like black pepper in fragrances. So it has that little bit of sweetness, that little bit of effervescent from this sparkling mandarin, and then it has this peppery, sort of spicy nature from this pink pepper. It's alluring, it's spicy, it's fresh, and the violet in this smells purple, and it smells amazing. This can go right down the middle. This was a scent I used this like, I don't know, probably 3, 4, 5 months in a row for church on Sundays, every Sunday. That's how much I've worn of it. I love it. You know, I hear it's getting discontinued. I don't know. So I'm going to definitely grab another bottle if it does. It is a little bit of a lighter performer where it will still last 7 to 8 hours, but it's not going to project a lot. And in that classy, elegant space, I really don't care because the smell is something that I enjoy and I get it through the whole life of that time. I'm getting it 6, 7, 8 hours later, and I love it. I love this fragrance. I'm addicted to this smell. And as I came along this fragrance journey, I found that I love the smell of violet. And this is the best violet I've ever smelled. It has this sandalwood, so it's not like a creamy, but more like a smoothness in the fragrance. There's that floral elegance from the violet, and then there's this oudi agarwood smell where all of Fragrance du Bois puts an oud in their fragrance, but not a lot of them smell very oudi. Well, this has a depth to it that has this almost very woody smell, not oudi, not hood, not barnyard, none of that. It just smells elegant, classy, sexy, amazing. My favorite unisex elegant fragrance, Fragrance du Bois Oud Violet. Okay, next up, I have two from one of my favorite brands is MIzensir. MIzensir's Ambre Magique in the white bottle and MIzensir's Boise de Myosore. And I have gone through a whole bottle of this in about 2 years already. This is a second bottle that I just picked up at the end of the month last year. Let's start with Ambre Magique. Ambre Magique simply is an amber scent that has added a little bit of a floral touch and a little bit of a ambroxan touch. I would put this in the same category as Mason Francis Kirchhoff's Grand Soir. And it really has that same feel. It almost has that smell just a little bit. It has that same depth of that ambery feel, except this has a little bit more pepper, a little bit more florals, and this definite sort of ambroxan musk in the background. Now, I put this bottle and Grand Soir in front of my wife, and I said, which one would you wear more and you would rather keep? She picked this one. This floral aspect is not overly done. You can barely get it. You're more getting a slight powdery-esque from this floral aspect. So this is this amber with this powder, this pepper, this ambroxan, and this musk. I wear this. It's fantastic. I like Grand Soir a little bit more, but I will still wear both of them, and they both have different occasions. So I'll switch back and forth. Ambre Magique is amazing. It has a little bit more delicate touch than Grand Soir. Some people find Grand Soir a little bit smelling like an old couch in that best way. This has none of that. This is mass appealing, smells amazing, and it has this, I think it's a rose in this that really almost adds a freshness, almost adds this garden-like feel that's not green, that is lush, that is delicate, and that is also deep from the amber. Now, this one, Boise de Myosore, I have fallen in love with this. This is basically jasmine and sandalwood. Now, to bring this back, what I get from this, it's kind of like if you had perfect oud from this brand, and then you added a creamy sandalwood and a delicate jasmine, and this jasmine is the slightest bit indolic. Indolic meaning overripe or the slightest bit animalic. Doesn't smell poopy, doesn't smell barnyardy, but it has this bite to it, almost like an overripe fruit or an overripe flower that is slightly turned a little sour in the best way. And they've done studies on the indolic aspect of jasmine and certain fragrances. And what it does to the brain is it grabs this attention center in the brain and makes the brain hold this attention longer. So this is this sort of very clean, oudy, sparkling sandalwood, creamy jasmine. And the jasmine is floral in a manly way. It's purple in this way. And I just love this. And it lingers. This thing lingers for like 8 to 10 hours. It's not a big projector. And you really don't want it to be a big projector because you don't want it to go out and grab somebody. You want it to be a draw-in scent. And this absolutely is. It stays a long time for the first 1 to 2 hours. It's definitely projecting hard. Again, I've used a whole bottle of this. And when I am gravitating towards something that's a little bit more, not flowery, but a little bit more unisex down the middle, this is always one of my top picks. Hence why I've gone through a whole bottle in about 1.5 to 2 years. Love this one. I had about 20 mils left. I ended up sending it to a friend because I just love it so much, and he loved it too. I think that you would love this one if you are looking for something that's a little bit more unisex down the middle, and that is Boise de Myosore by MIzensir. Okay, this next one, I've talked about this fragrance quite a few times on the channel. I've talked about it in the last video of the best fragrance finds of 2024. I did just find this fragrance in 2024, and this is oh man, this is Chanel 1957 from the Les Exclusives line. This is sophistication in a bottle, timeless elegance, minimalistic, refined, slightly powdery, slightly green, slightly peppery. No real floral aspect that sticks out, but like a melange of florals and a melange of notes that really make this sort of sparkling. It absolutely sparkles with this aldehydes and this bergamot at the top. It's enchanting. It's fresh. It's airy. There's a brightness to this. There's a white musk, a neroli, iris. It's soft. It's velvety. It's elegant. This will work in any and all situations. It has this powdery purple, sparkling green, musky, clean, aldehydic, soapy aspect all the way through. All of those all at once. Almost a little ozonic, not as so much as like seaside, but just it has that sort of airiness. Honestly, if I'm picking the masters list, this is in the top 10, 15. Absolutely. I can't live without this one. I actually have this 200 mil and I have a 75 mil. I'm good forever. So we're good to go. That is Chanel's 1957. Okay, the next one is one that came out just a few months ago. I've only had this for about 2 to 3 weeks, and you can see how much I've used of that because it is that darn good. And this might just be one of the strongest Thameen fragrances I've ever experienced. This is Thameen's Center Stage. Opulent, captivating, dramatic, erotic, sensually dirty. This smells like sex. So this fragrance was designed around the idea of an old-timey, 1900s burlesque studio that had the women dancing and singing, and they've been with men all day and they have makeup and rouge on, and there is this atmosphere of sex around the place. This is one of those fragrances. This fragrance, when I smelled it, I said I had nothing like this, and it puts me in the mindset of eroticism, of like Mr. Gray, of like you need to tie somebody up, put this on, and go at it. This is one of those fragrances. Now, this is not a blind buy safe. Don't go and blind buy this because this definitely has this powdery aspect. It has this sort of makeup rouge, not this makeup iris, not makeup bag, but a makeup rouge. And with that powdery lipstick makeup that you're putting on your face type of thing, which I've never put it on, so that sounds weird. But okay, so it also has this musk, this dirty musk in this. It really it feels sexy. Now, I would say try this, see if you like it. This is one of those fragrances that is not for the masses. This is a collector's fragrance. This is a fragrance that you want to be confident, you want to evoke a sexual animalic nature. It definitely will do that. It smells good. It smells great. But this is not something that everybody's just going to flock over. So put this on your radar. Give it a try. I love it. I love it. I have nothing like this in my whole collection. And it fills a space of eroticism and dirtiness that I just love. And I love it for what it does. And this thing is super strong. I'm talking about lingering for over 10 hours. It's crazy how long this lasted. Really good for the performance, really good for the price, and really just an interesting all-around scent that can lean into the feminine space. Women can wear this fragrance. Women can wear all of these fragrances that I've put on this list. And in fact, my wife does wear all of them. My sister took a few of these. These are fragrances that can bend those gender norms. That is Thameen's Center Stage. Now, I've never really heard many people talk about this fragrance slightly leaning into the feminine space, but it totally does in the best way possible. This is Sospiro's Dolce Melodia. Now, what I mainly get from this fragrance is it's like you made a floral Hawaiian punch. Like, that's really it. You get these red fruits, you get these florals, you get this musk, and this thing bangs. Really, really good, really strong. It almost feels a little tropical. One of those fragrances that you have to experience. It basically smells like Hawaiian punch, and you got a bunch of fruits in there, and you have a bunch of other flowers in there. This is probably the second most unisex fragrance on this list because a lot of guys love this and a lot of women love this. I find that men and women alike wear this. How can I say this? This smells like what Rihanna's skin would smell like. That's kind of how I imagine it. Like this is what she would smell like if she just kind of like had a skin scent. it kind of gives me that mental picture. That's kind of weird, but that's kind of what it does. And it is super, super duper strong. Over 8 to 10 hours, easy. This thing projects, it kicks, it hits, it lingers. It is in your pores. It will come out later. This is definitely one to look at. Sospiro's Dolce Melodia. Okay, I wanted to add this fragrance in because when I found this years ago, I was just blown away. Now, the first fragrance that this reminds me of, this is Amouage Jubilation Woman. This is the woman's version. Amouage Jubilation 25 Woman. And you can see how much I've used of this. My wife has used this too, but I've used this way more. And what I get from Amouage Jubilation Woman is I get a lighter, more effervescent, more floral Rojas Diaghilev, right in that same space. Now, some people love Diaghilev. It's definitely one of those more masculine leaning fragrances where this is a Chypre and this is green, effervescent, mossy, very floral, very spicy. It has a fresh aldehyde in it. Best Chypre in the game. For the price, for itself, best Chypre there is. That being said, that's not always an easy wear for a lot of guys. And if you're young, if you're probably under 30, this is going to be a tough wear. Now, where Amouage Jubilation comes in, when I first smelled this years ago, I instantly was like, dude, this is Rojas Diaghilev light. This is like the diet version of that. It's a little thinner. It's a little less green. It's a little bit more floral. It's a little bit more aldehydic. And it's definitely unisex right down the middle. If you like Chypres, you can find this for a dumb cheap price. And this hits the spot. And honestly, this is a little bit more sparkling than Diaghilev. Diaghilev is definitely deeper, richer, more emulsive, more immersive. But Jubilation Woman 25 really gives me that same feel. So for like when I don't want to wear Diaghilev, which is mainly only a sophisticated situation fragrance, I can wear this in many more situations because I don't have to spend, because I don't have to worry about like using all this bottle up. I want it to take some time and use it for those special occasions. This is $1,000 fragrance. This is like $150 fragrance. Don't buy this on retail because it's like $360, but you can find this probably for about $150. Man, so good. I'm gonna spray some of this. Yeah, it really is. It's like Diaghilev light. So that is Amouage Jubilation 25 Woman. Okay, let's come around the back end here. This is essentially a cheapie. I believe Sense Angel has this on their site, and if you can use a 15% discount code, you can get this for like $45. This is 100 ml of Carner Barcelona's Rockstar. And mainly what you're getting from this is a floral, aldehydic, seaside, slightly green, ozonic, marine fragrance. Really good, easy wear, dumb reach. It smells good. It's not too overly feminine. It does lean into that feminine space. Probably say 60-40. It has those florals in it. And it lasts 6 hours. It's not the biggest projector. It's not the longest laster. But for the price, for the scent, for the quality, for the mix, definitely a good one. It hits a space in my collection of these marine fragrances that can go a little too masculine or a little too salty or a little too marine, where this hits that fine line. It's very light, effervescent, almost like water, but definitely has a great smell and a great presence. This would be super sexy on a man, super sexy on a woman. This is one of those where you want to smell this closer because it smells sexy for an ozonic fragrance. That is Carner Barcelona's Rockstar. And last up, a release that happened towards the middle of 2024, and I just fell in love with it. This is Mason Francis Kurkdjian's APOM. Now, this is a re-released fragrance from a discontinued fragrance, APOM meaning a piece of me. And the older fragrance, amazing. I have a bottle of it, discontinued. It's amazing. but this one is super fantastic, and I almost like this more. So the other APOM was the Mason Francis Gershon APOM Pour Homme, and then there was a Pour Femme. I never smelled the Pour Femme, but I had the Pour Homme. Now, what they did with the re-release is they basically mixed the two of the Pour Femme, Pour Homme. Don't know what that smells like to compare it, but I tell you this smells like the original APOM Pour Homme, which is a jasmine, ambery, slightly indolic. My goodness, so good. You can see I've only used this. I haven't even introduced it to my wife because I'm gatekeeping it in my house. I'm giving it to you guys, but I'm gatekeeping it in the house. And this thing lasts forever. This has the same lasting power that like Oud Satin Mood has. It's crazy how long this lasts, how much this lingers. I'm so enjoyed every time I wear this. So this is an ambery scent. It has cedar wood. It has this woody aspect. And there's this ylang-ylang and jasmine in this. And mainly this ylang-ylang is what you're getting. And it's one of those notes where you haven't really smelled anything that smells like it. Soft, it's radiant, but it's strong and pressing at the same time. Smooth and comforting. And it's all laid on this base of amber. And this amber is this manly strength amber. It's like a pure amber. A touch of sensuality, exclusivity, refined, radiant, sensual, timeless, and sophisticated. I'll wear this with a t-shirt and jeans just because I enjoy that smell. And when I do, I feel like it absolutely fits. And then I'll wear this with a nice sweater or a colored shirt because it absolutely fits. And when I put it on, I know I'm in for it for the long haul because this isn't going anywhere for like 8 to 10 hours. All right, family. So that is the florals for men. Do you like any florals? Put down in the comments some florals that you guys like that aren't here. I have a bunch more, but I really like to know, what are the fragrances that are genre benders for you? What are the fragrances that just you don't listen to anybody else and you love them? Like your wife has them, your girlfriend wears them, and you're like, this is darn good. I'm going to steal this and wear this. Let's kind of break those gender norms. Happy 2025, everybody. And the next video you will see from me, I will be in Hawaii on vacation. So I have a special one planned for you. Vacation fragrances for Hawaii. Okay, Scent Savant, out of here.
Scent Savant.